I wanted people to know that I did not disappear, turn my back, and not finish my career, and I'm done, and that's it.
It's hard to watch.
Few artists have built an empire quite like Celine Dion's, with an estimated net worth soaring near $800 million. But behind the staggering fortune lies a story marked by quiet struggles and heartbreaking sacrifices that forever changed her family's world. How does someone carry the weight of unimaginable success while facing relentless personal grief? This is not just a tale of riches. It's about a woman whose voice shaped hearts worldwide and whose legacy continues to bring her loved ones to tears. A family filled with music. Celine Dion was the youngest of 14 children in a musical but struggling family. Her parents were performers who filled their modest home with songs even when money was scarce. Her first crib was a drawer lined with blankets, a humble start that foreshadowed a life shaped by endurance and faith. From childhood, her voice rose above hardship. She sang not for applause, but out of necessity, performing at her brother's wedding at 5 and practicing relentlessly in freezing rooms. By 12, she was writing songs with her mother and recording demos with her brother Michel. When producer René Angelil heard her voice, he was so moved that he mortgaged his home to fund her first album, a leap of faith that launched her career. Celine's youth was spent in rehearsals instead of classrooms and sound checks instead of dances. Determined to reach beyond Quebec, she studied English phonetically and soon achieved her first hit, La Voix du Bon Dieu. At 14, her performance at the Yamaha World Popular Song Festival in Tokyo introduced her to the world. But behind the success was the loss of a normal childhood and the weight of her family's hopes. Her rise was powered by discipline, not privilege. She was never groomed by wealth or connections, but driven by a hunger to lift her family from poverty. The girl who once slept in a drawer became a global icon, each note carrying echoes of the struggle that shaped her. Celine Dion's beginnings were far from glamorous, yet they forged the resilience and heart that would define one of the greatest voices of her generation. That same resilience would find its mirror in the man who first believed in her. As Celine's voice began to reach beyond Quebec, René Angelil became not just her producer, but the guiding force who recognized her rare gift and helped shape the woman and artist she would become. The man behind the voice. No story of Celine Dion's rise is complete without René Angelil, the man who believed in her when no one else did. 26 years her senior, the seasoned producer heard her demo and was so moved by its purity that he mortgaged his home to launch her career. It was an act of faith that would change both their lives. René became more than a manager, he was her protector and anchor amid the chaos of fame. As Celine grew from a shy teenager into a global star, he shielded her from pressures that could have broken her spirit. Their bond, forged in trust and devotion, quietly deepened into love. By 19, she had confessed her feelings, and in 1994, they married at Montreal's Notre Dame Basilica, a union grounded in loyalty and mutual strength. Their partnership endured for nearly 3 decades, defined by patience, faith, and shared purpose rather than spectacle. René's quiet belief fueled her courage, while Celine's voice gave meaning to his unwavering support. Behind every ovation stood the man who never sought the spotlight, but whose love made her light shine brighter. For Celine Dion, René was not just the man behind her music. He was the heart that kept her voice alive. When René passed away in 2016, Celine faced the world without the man who had been her constant companion and compass. Yet, his influence endures in every performance and every note she sings. His faith in her became her own strength, guiding her through grief and keeping his spirit alive in her music. Their story remains one of devotion and destiny, proof that sometimes the greatest love stories are not written in words, but sung from the heart. Breakthrough and global stardom. Celine Dion's breakthrough into international stardom was not a stroke of luck, but the result of years of relentless hard work and perseverance. In 1990, she took a significant risk by releasing an English-language album, a bold move for a French-Canadian singer amid skepticism and criticism. Executives doubted her accent and doubted her place in American pop music, but Celine refused to bend to the naysayers. Instead, she meticulously refined her English diction, tightened her tone, and let her voice do what words could not. Her single, "Where Does My Heart Beat Now?" cracked the United States top 5, not because the world was ready, but because Celine made it listen. She defied cultural and linguistic barriers, making herself impossible to ignore. This was only the beginning of a career that would transcend oceans and break through barriers, marked by a voice that became a universal language. Her sound was a bridge uniting diverse audiences, a testament to her unique blend of authenticity and strength. Among her iconic moments was the duet with Piabo Bryson on Disney's Beauty and the Beast in 1992, a song that transformed a children's cartoon into an emotional experience for millions. While the Oscar recognition that followed was significant, the true impact came from the emotion stirred in children, parents, and lovers alike. Celine's purpose was always greater than fame. It was about touching hearts and evoking real feeling. Her majestic 1997 hit "My Heart Will Go On," the theme from Titanic, became more than just a song. It was an anthem for survival and enduring love. Selling over 30 million copies worldwide, it earned both Academy and Grammy Awards, cementing her place among music royalty. Yet beneath the soaring vibrato was a woman already breaking under pressure. The world did not see the exhaustion, vocal injuries, or the loneliness that came with constant touring and relentless public expectation. In 2003, when Celine accepted a Las Vegas residency, critics called it a career graveyard. She turned that narrative on its head, performing over 700 shows and grossing more than $600 million, setting a new standard in entertainment history. For over 3 million attendees, the concerts were not just performances, but healing experiences. Audiences felt seen, comforted, and held by her presence, making her shows sanctuaries of shared emotion. Her voice did more than entertain. It told stories, stitched wounds, and gave voice to unspoken emotions. Behind every dazzling costume and standing ovation, Celine carried the burden of illness and grief, refusing to let either silence her. With every high note, she bled artistry and endurance, walking through the fire while the world watched. Her achievements extended beyond music to include perfume lines, fashion ventures, and expansive real estate, solidifying a fortune of staggering proportions. Despite all the accolades and wealth, Celine never lost sight of her true riches, the connection with her audience and the strength to keep going. She remained immovable in a changing industry, never needing to reinvent herself because her story was singular, marked by humility, discipline, and relentless purpose. Her voice lifted millions, but it also held together the cracks in her own spirit. From the cramped room where a hungry girl first sang to drowning out hunger, to sold-out arenas worldwide, Celine Dion's stardom is a tale of endurance and heart. Yet, beneath all the global success and glowing lights, the private battles she faced were profound. Those silent struggles would soon lead to some of the most difficult chapters of her life. Transitioning from remarkable professional heights, Celine faced devastating personal losses that tested her spirit and shaped the legacy she carries today. Private battles with loss. Behind the brilliant spotlight and soaring melodies, Celine Dion's life was shadowed by profound personal losses that reshaped her world. In January 2016, she faced the devastating death of her husband, René Angelil, who had been her steadfast manager, protector, and great love. His passing was a blow more profound than any career setback, as he had been her anchor through decades of relentless demands. René's battle with throat cancer had forced Celine to walk away from touring mid-course, trading the stage's roar for the sterile quiet of hospital corridors. Despite the world's applause, she was there holding his hand as his breath slowly slipped away. Just 2 days after losing René, grief struck again with the sudden passing of Celine's beloved brother, Daniel Dion. Cancer claimed him swiftly and mercilessly, compounding an already unbearable loss. Daniel was not just a sibling, he was a constant in her life, a thread thick with childhood memories and shared songs. The timing was cruel. 2 funerals within 48 hours left no space to breathe or process, only a flood of sorrow that drenched every corner of her being. Those days transformed her from the unstoppable star on stage into a daughter of grief, moving through ritual and silence. In those dark hours, Celine did not seek the spotlight but bore her pain quietly, wrapped in a loneliness that no audience could see. Those closest to her would later recall nights where she sat alone, clutching photographs and whispering to memories no longer living. The public only saw a glamorous figure draped in black. But behind closed doors, her grief made her thinner, quieter, like music playing through glass. Her sorrow was not a passing wave, but a soul rupture that irrevocably changed the woman behind the legend. It was a sequence of farewells so cruelly timed that even angels would have wept. Years before these public heartbreaks, a quieter sorrow had already taken root. Her niece Karine, a radiant 16-year-old with cystic fibrosis, a debilitating disease affecting the lungs, passed away after a long battle. While the world was enchanted by Celine's soaring voice, she traded bright stage lights for the dim glow of hospital rooms. As an aunt, she offered comfort through whispered lullabies amidst beeping monitors, hoping music could breathe life where medicine could not. Karine's death marked a silent heartbreak that shaped Celine's understanding of loss beyond fame. Following these tragedies, Celine's music deepened with layers of mourning, memory, and resilience. Songs became more than performance. They became prayers, tender farewells, and echoes of those no longer with her. The pain she carried was etched into every note, giving voice to a grief that is too raw for headlines. The public may remember her dazzling gown and power ballads, but the soul behind them sang of profound absence. Her grief transformed her artistry into a living monument to love and loss intertwined. Through it all, Celine refused to collapse in the face of such devastating losses. Instead, she carried their memories forward, turning personal tragedy into a testament of endurance. She stood not to perform, but to honor her late husband, brother, and niece, bearing their absence with dignity and faith. This strength, born from heartbreak, revealed the essence of who she is. A woman shaped by melody but strengthened by mourning. Her story became less about the glitter and more about the grit required to keep singing through silence. Even as grief threatened to consume her, Celine remained the foundation for those who loved her. Even when she herself felt shattered, she moved through life holding on to the fragments of her past while still reaching for the future. The world may see only the stage, but she lives in a quiet sanctum where loss and love coexist. Her family, her music, and her legacy are forever marked by this intimate struggle, showing that behind every note lies a heartbeat, carrying both joy and sorrow. This chapter of Celine's life is a powerful reminder that fame never shields from pain. It highlights the invisible battles behind the spectacle and the cost of carrying a public legacy while grappling with private devastation. Her ability to stand tall amid such loss is part of the reason her voice resonates so deeply with so many. It is a legacy of strength that goes far beyond inheritance or fortune. These personal tragedies inevitably led Celine Dion to face new challenges, balancing her role as an incredible artist with the responsibilities and fights of motherhood, all while bearing her losses quietly and courageously. Motherhood through adversity. Motherhood for Celine Dion was never a simple blessing, but a hard-fought victory shaped by years of struggle and determination. After marrying René Angelil, she dreamed of building a family together, but nature proved unyielding. Pregnancy did not come easily. Behind the glamorous public image lived women painfully private battles, bruises from injections, the sting of hormone treatments, and endless rounds of in vitro fertilization. While audiences saw a radiant star, no one glimpsed the toll these years took on her body and spirit. Her journey to motherhood spanned surgeries, sleepless nights, and unspoken sorrows. The relentless hope of hearing the heartbeat of a child made Celine endure what many would find unbearable. In 2001, the miracle came when her first son, René Charles, was born, the culmination of a quiet war fought in solitude. But even this joy came with fragility, as every precious moment was shadowed by fear and exhaustion. The public's applause could never measure the depth of gratitude she felt holding that newborn. Tragedy struck again with a miscarriage in 2009, a loss that she carried without headlines or fanfare. The grief was thick and painful, hidden behind adoring smiles and sold-out shows. Celine continued to sing lullabies to millions, while mourning the lullabies she would never sing to that unborn child. Such losses etched themselves deeply into her life, forging an unbreakable bond between her art and her lived experience. Defying odds once more, she gave birth to twins Nelson and Eddie in 2010, additional miracles born from a body that had endured far beyond what was visible to the world. Their births brought joy tinged with exhaustion and caution, as every smile masked the unrelenting fear that tragedy might again find her. Raising 3 boys as a single mother after René's death in 2016 became her most profound challenge yet. Overnight, she transitioned from global superstar to a widow carrying the weight of family alone. Motherhood meant becoming both lullaby and anchor, compass and shelter, roles Celine filled with fierce love despite overwhelming hardship. Away from the limelight, her days became about nurturing and protecting, a new form of performance layered with hope, sacrifice, and relentless strength. In her son's eyes, she sees not just children, but symbols of survival. Each needle, every loss, and every note sung through pain reflected back at her. Despite declining health and public retreat, Celine remains a guiding presence in her sons' lives, closely involved in their education, emotional well-being, and artistic growth. She continues to hum lullabies in the quiet moments, keeping music alive as both heritage and healing. Her role as a mother now carries the same gravity and devotion as her career once did, a labor of love that sustains her through ongoing challenges. Motherhood reshaped Celine's identity, blending the profound with the everyday. It offered a grounding force while reminding her of the sacrifices that accompanied her remarkable career. The laughter echoing through her Nevada home is a testament to decades of endurance, proof that love and legacy persist even after unimaginable loss. Through motherhood, Celine Dion's story broadens beyond fame. It is a narrative of battle and triumph, teaching us that the deepest riches are measured not in fortune, but in family, resilience, and the courage to keep moving forward. As she navigates this complex journey, new challenges also emerged. Health struggles that would challenge the very foundation of her identity as a singer and woman. Health challenges and silent struggles. For a woman whose identity was built on the purity and power of her voice, Celine Dion's health struggles represent a deeply personal and public battle. As early as 2005, she noticed subtle changes, her vocal cords no longer responding as they once did, breath tightening uncomfortably. What began as occasional discomfort escalated into painful muscle spasms and stiffness that limited her mobility and ability to perform. While fans watched her dazzle on stage, backstage, she often collapsed in silence, wrestling with invisible agony. The physical challenges grew severe. Her muscles would lock like steel armor, spasms, unpredictable and violent, with her lungs resisting the simple act of breathing. For years, she hid her suffering behind smiles and sequins, refusing to let the world see how hard it truly was. She required high doses of medication, including up to 90 milligrams of Valium daily, not for anxiety, but simply to manage pain and function. Her resilience became a quiet defiance, a determination not to surrender even as her body rebelled. Despite these hardships, Celine found ways to preserve her artistry. When her voice faltered mid-performance, she cleverly turned the microphone to the audience, inviting them to sing, a moment not of defeat, but of solidarity and survival. Her pain was real and relentless, yet she refused to allow it to overshadow the music or the bond with her fans. This silent endurance added new layers to her legacy of courage and strength. In 2022, her struggles culminated in a diagnosis of stiff person syndrome, a rare neurological disorder that progressively hardens muscles and restricts movement. This condition pierced the very core of a woman, defined by motion and voice. The public got a rare glimpse through the documentary I Am Celine Dion, seeing the warrior beneath the glamour, the woman wrestling with a body that seemed to betray her. In harrowing scenes, she undergoes therapy while her hands clench in pain and her body twists involuntarily. This disease transformed her life, forcing cancellations of tours and the long-anticipated return to Las Vegas. Yet even in retreat, Celine's spirit shines bright. She continues intensive therapy with specialists focused on mobility, speech, and pain management, adapting her lifestyle to support healing through rest, carefully curated anti-inflammatory meals, and gentle physiotherapy. Her physique visibly changed, thinner, more fragile, but her eyes still burn with the fire of a woman unwilling to surrender. The fight against illness reshaped her relationship with music and performance. No longer commanding stadiums, she hums lullabies at home, sings softly for her children, and rarely meets vocal coaches purely to maintain connection with the voice that shaped her life. Her music shifted from public spectacle to private sanctuary, a means of survival as much as expression. Even as her physical freedom shrinks, her resolve to rise again remains unbroken. Celine's journey through illness highlights a deeper truth, that the power of her voice is intertwined with the strength of her soul. Millions have witnessed her resilience, and while her stage presence may have dimmed, the influence of her story grows. Her grace under fire has become a beacon not just for fans, but for anyone facing invisible battles behind closed doors. Her health challenges have added a new dimension to her narrative, one that moves beyond talent and fame to reveal the frailty and fierce courage of the human spirit. This chapter is still unfolding, carried forward by a woman who chooses to rise time and again, even as her body fights back. It is a profoundly human story, echoing far beyond the music industry's spotlight. From her battles with illness emerges a woman who not only redefined vocal mastery but redefined resilience itself. And while this struggle might have changed her path, it cannot dim the extraordinary fortune she built, a fortune reflecting decades of unparalleled success and unyielding commitment. The fortune behind the fame. Celine Dion's estimated net worth exceeds $800 million. a staggering figure reflecting a career of historic achievements and diverse ventures. But her fortune is more than a number. It is a testament to relentless artistry, entrepreneurial spirit, and the sacrifices that shaped her journey. Her record sales, topping 250 million globally, stand as a monument to her global appeal. Beyond music, her influence expanded into perfume lines, fashion ventures, and vast real estate holdings, a sprawling empire carefully cultivated over decades. Her real estate portfolio alone reads like chapters in a dream. Notable among these are a $72 million Bahamian-inspired estate in Jupiter Island, Florida, where luxury meets serenity. In Quebec, she owns a French chateau on a private island valued at $25,500,000, a stately residence echoing with personal history. A peaceful mansion in Nevada, worth $4,500,000, remains home to the laughter of her children, a sanctuary away from public eyes. These properties are silent witnesses to moments of joy, grief, and resilience. Celine's passion for fine automobiles is equally impressive. Her garage houses a Maybach 62, a Mercedes-Benz S350, and a Cadillac Escalade. These vehicles symbolize chapters of her life, celebrations, quiet drives, and transitions through triumphs and heartbreaks. And high above it all is her $42 million Bombardier Global Express jet. Not merely a symbol of luxury, but a necessity for moving quickly between the demands of a global career and the solitude needed to process personal loss. While the size of her fortune dazzles, the real story lies in the price paid to build it. Each dollar is stamped with sacrifice. Shows performed after losing the love of her life. Tours pushed through despite failing health. Vocals stretched to their limits while her body cried out for rest. Her empire is not just monetary value. It is a monument to endurance and dedication that few could imagine. Her wealth also functions as protection, a shield carefully placed around what matters most: her family, her sons, and the fragile gift of time. Though public appearances have become rare, the fortune she crafted remains a vital resource for securing their future and preserving her legacy beyond the stage. Estate planning, though private, is quietly underway, a sign of maternal clarity and thoughtful stewardship. Beyond assets and numbers, Celine's fortune mirrors the breadth of her influence. A voice that stitched wounds, a presence that gave millions a sense of hope and belonging. Her philanthropic efforts, including support for children's hospitals and cystic fibrosis research in memory of her niece, reveal a woman who used her platform for far more than personal gain. Her generosity continues to resonate deeply in communities worldwide. Her fortune is intertwined with her story of resilience, a complex tapestry where success came at high personal cost. It reminds us that behind impressive earnings lies a life marked by courage, grief, and an unbreakable spirit. This wealth is a reflection not only of artistic triumph, but of a woman's fierce heart carried through decades of challenge. Celine Dion's legacy, both financial and emotional, is a powerful reminder that true wealth transcends figures. It is found in resilience, love, and the courage to keep moving forward despite life's hardest blows. Her fortune stands not only as a symbol of success, but as a protective circle around all that she holds dear. Her story now moves toward a quieter chapter, one where legacy is about presence, endurance, and the unyielding love that continues to shape her life and those around her. Legacy and life today. Celine Dion's legacy today is far more than the staggering fortune she has amassed. It is the story of a woman who continues to inspire through resilience, love, and perseverance. No longer performing to sold-out arenas or basking under flashing lights, she now lives a quieter life, yet her presence remains deeply etched in the hearts of millions worldwide. Her home in Las Vegas, a serene estate valued at $4,500,000, contrasts sharply with the vibrant career she once led, now offering a sanctuary where healing and motherhood take priority. Despite stepping back from the stage, Celine's influence still ripples through the music world and beyond. Her sons, Renee Charles, Nelson, and Eddie, grow shielded from the public eye but nurtured by a mother who remains their unwavering anchor. She spends time in her home studio, not for commercial recording, but to stay connected to the voice that defined her life. Humming lullabies and meeting with vocal coaches, she maintains the musical thread that has bound her family and fan base alike. Her health challenges have already limited public appearances, but each sighting, often wrapped in scarves and oversized sunglasses, reminds fans not of frailty, but of immense strength. Behind those dark glasses is a woman still shaped by grief and loss, standing tall in the face of relentless physical pain. Her story has shifted from vocal triumph to human courage, highlighting a new kind of performance, endurance and grace in everyday life. Celine's advocacy work remains integral to her legacy. From supporting children's hospitals to championing cystic fibrosis research in memory of her late niece, she uses her voice beyond music to amplify causes close to her heart. These quiet acts of generosity show a woman who never turned her back on her roots, sustaining a connection to community even amid personal battles. Her generosity is a testament to a spirit that has always been about giving, not just receiving. Her legacy is also reflected in how she has stayed true amid an ever-changing industry. Never chasing trends or scandal, Celine remained singular and authentic, qualities that endeared her to generations of fans. Her story reminds us that greatness is not measured solely by sold-out stadiums or chart-topping hits, but by the grace and dignity carried when no one is watching. She embodies endurance, singing even when her voice cracks, loving fiercely despite her pain. Though her silhouette has visibly changed and her stage presence dimmed, the fire in her eyes tells a story of unyielding spirit. Celine's transformation from global icon to quiet warrior offers a powerful message about strength beyond performance. She has become more than a singer. She is a living melody of resilience, dignity, and unwavering love for life. This new chapter adds profound depth to a legacy already rich with achievement. Her music continues to move people in intimate ways, filling weddings, funerals, and quiet moments in cars at midnight. Her songs have transcended the need for her physical voice to carry them. They live in the very fabric of people's lives. In a noisy world where volume often replaces meaning, Celine teaches the power of stillness and truth. Her enduring presence challenges the music industry's obsession with reinvention by simply being herself. Celine Dion's story is ultimately about more than notes or fame. It is about courage, singing when your voice breaks, mothering when your heart is shattered, and loving when the world gives you every reason to shut down. Her journey reflects a woman holding a microphone in one hand and her pain, grief, and faith in the other. This legacy of resilience continues to inspire, reminding us that the true measure of greatness lies in how we carry ourselves through life's trials. As her life's chapters unfold away from the spotlight, Celine remains not just a legend, but a deeply human figure. A mother, a fighter, and a voice that will forever echo in the hearts of those who found comfort in her music. Celine Dion's story is one of remarkable talent, profound loss, and unbreakable spirit. Her fortune reflects decades of dedication, but her legacy is truly about resilience and love. If her journey has touched you, please like this video and subscribe for more stories that inspire and move. Your support helps keep her memory and music alive.